Oh, a nice, beautiful trail with wildflowers and a setting sun, or maybe a rising sun, green pastures, and just a beautiful place to be. So I decided to paint that today because we have a hurricane coming. And yesterday in church, Pastor Jeffrey Shanks gave us a list, and the list says things to pray from Psalms. And one of them is specifically about when you are scared. So when you are scared, Pastor Shanks suggests that you read as a prayer. You read Psalm 23, Psalm 27, and Psalm 56. So for today's painting, I chose the first part of Psalm 27, which says, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?" And usually if you're thinking about a hurricane, you say, what? But we name them. This one is called Milton. So it does become a whom. It does have a personality, sort of. So who shall I fear? Not Milton. Not Helene. That's not to say we shouldn't prepare, though. So if you're in the path of any danger, nature-made or God-made, man-made, nature is God. So nature-made or man-made. If you're in the path of danger, you got to prepare. Anyway, I'm being a little bit too out of my realm. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a philosopher. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not even an artist. I'm just a Poppa, and I paint. So let me show you how I painted this right now. All right, good morning. We are looking at another hurricane coming our way. Some of you also live in this area, and it's in your way too. It's coming your way. So we got some weather coming our way. I found Psalm 27, and it was quite coincidental, really. But I wanted to share that with you and maybe try to create a painting of hope. That's my idea, to create a painting of hope. I don't know. Sometimes I think when I think that way, sometimes I think that when I think that way, I'm a little bit naive. I'm very naive, really. And I think I say that because I really, intellectually, a painting isn't going to change the world. Intellectually, a song isn't going to change the world. But still, God must have given us the arts. God must have given us the arts for a reason, don't you think? Must be a reason we have been given the arts. Well, I'm doing today's painting with gouache, by the way, as you can tell. I wanted to use gouache a little bit and see how I like it. I've used gouache a lot, but I've been using watercolor so much lately. And I've been using watercolor for these cards mostly, And so I wanted to just kind of play with it a little bit. prepare in a way for using gouache more in the future. I like gouache. I like gouache as a sketching medium. Does that make sense? To use gouache as a sketching medium. Just a way to put down some ideas and also to be able to change ideas, I think, along the way. Sometimes when I use watercolor, you have to think it through. You have to think a lot. With gouache, you don't have to think as much. Does that make sense? Because you can paint over it, you know. I know it reactivates, so it's not exactly the same as painting over, you know, with oil or acrylic, but anyway, again, I really don't know what I'm doing. And I really am naive. I really am naive. Let's get a little bit blue here. You see what I'm doing? I'm making a sky. I'm making a sky. Yeah, so Psalm 27 was something that the pastor at our church was encouraging us to read, and probably because there's a hurricane coming. And so it says, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?" That's the first verse of the chapter 27 of Psalm. So I guess that first part, I want to read the whole thing as I do this video, but the whole 27. But just that first part right there says a lot, right? And I hope I'm doing this right. I always wonder if I'm doing these pictures right. All right, there we go. There's our sky. The end of the card is right there, so it's really not as low as it looks. All right, let's get some other colors. I don't know. I'm just winging it today. Really winging it. Oh, this is black. Well, I'm going to hold off on the black for a while. Let me see, what else do I have here? Oh, this is mauve. Mauve. I call purple. I call it purple. Put a little bit there. You know that song? Purple Mountains Majesties. Whoa, look how rich it is. Whoa. That's a little too rich. Let me add a little bit of green to it to knock it down. Let me add a little bit of green to that mauve. And then came mauve. Remember that show? Oh, that was Maud. And then came Maud. Yeah, so we'll add a little bit of green, and I'll bring it down. We'll add some mountains. Again, I'm channeling Bob Ross. Some happy little mountains. Whoa. It's not. I gotta really bring it down a little bit more. I gotta make it look muddy. Let's see if we can do this. Get it muddier. Get that mauve mixed with that green, make it really muddy. There we go. That's what I want, that muddy look. Make like a valley right there. Right there. Okay. It's kind of wet, so I have to wait a little bit for it to dry. But there's the basic background, I think, of what I want to do. And as it dries, I'll try to add more definition to those clouds. Those clouds up here, I think I'll use that same muddy mauve up here. Yeah, we want these clouds to be threatening. I want it to look like there's a storm on the horizon a little bit, or maybe a storm just passed. So we get this muddy mauve. Come on, you gotta be muddier than that. You gotta make it real muddy. Get it really dark over in this part of the sky. Here we go. This is why I'm using mauve, so I can go back over it later on with the yellow and some whites, I think. Alright, let's go ahead and put this a little bit darker here. This distant hill. Yeah, we got another hurricane coming. And this one is aiming right to Tampa, which would sort of put it kind of in our backyard. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work or not. We'll see. We'll see if we like that later on after I can put a few more layers on it. But we'll start with that. That looks like a good place to start. Alright, now let's go ahead and add some very toned down green. So yeah, I'll use that same green maybe. Is that the same green? That's the same green. But I'm going to add yellow to that. And I already have yellow on the dish. There's some yellow, very washed out green there. And we'll come back to this after we add some distant hills and stuff. Just kind of put that all, mix it all, blend together, I guess. Yellow. Nice big yellow hill here. We want to make a trail right there. It's a very sketchy idea right now. We'll add to it. This is definitely going to be a layered painting. Okay, let's get some of these darker greens. very darker. It's darker, but it's very. I'm gonna have to use that purple to knock it down. It's really too green. Okay. Put a little bit of shadow here. So we can see the separation of these hills and stuff. Add, just keep adding stuff until we get it the way we want it to be. Yeah. So I said I wanted to read the whole Psalm 27. Let me read the verse 2, which says, When the wicked advance against me to devour me, it is my enemies and my foes who will stumble and fall. Yeah. I guess you could look at a hurricane as wicked. You know. Hurricane isn't as wicked as people can be, though. Hurricane can do damage, obviously, like a wicked person, but it's just nature. Just nature. Some yellow here. Some yellow here. Try to build up this whole area here. Alright, let's get some of that. I wanted to use burnt sienna. See if I have it somewhere. Yellow ochre. Maybe I'll use that one. And that's burnt sienna. Maybe I meant to say yellow ochre. Maybe that's what I meant to say. Let me put it in the dish. Looks like it'll work in the dish. Just use that a little bit. Get some color to this road here. To this trail. Let's get this trail started here. Right now I'm just using the gouache like watercolor, so. It's a nice trail here. I love trails and rivers. I love little pathways in the art. I love when they just come together like that. These greens and these purples to mix together to create this look that I want here. some of those rolling hills. There we go. All right, let's get some of those darker greens. The burnt umber might help. Let's see if the burnt umber will help. I think it might. I think it might work out really nice right along the edge here. Little tiny areas of shadows. There we go. Some little areas here. Spread this around a little bit more. Use a little bit bigger brush. A little bit bigger. keep working it. All right, now let's put the tree in there. And there's the gardens right there. we go. Right, now let's try to add some of these lighter colors now that it's drying. Let's see where I can put them. Okay. Grab some of this yellow. So I told you I would read more of Psalm 27. And number 3, the third verse says, though an army besiege me, my heart will not fear. Though war break out against me, even then I will be confident. And number 4 says, one thing I ask from the Lord, this only do I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze on the beauty of the Lord and to seek him in his temple. I think that's what this is. It's a landscape. A landscape maybe, right? Maybe a landscape is the temple of God. I don't know. I never thought of it that way before. Get some more yellow in there. I think I'm liking it. A little bit. Add a little bit of orange. Alright, I think it's done. Alright, let's fold it out, make it into a card. I think it's alright. Alright. Well, thank you for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.